Okay, so this is a tutorial. I will go through the whole process to bring an animated kinetic structure from 3ds Max into Unreal. This is based on the previous tutorial here. As a part of this new tutorial, I also want to talk a little bit how you can use my source file provided on the website, so you don't have to start from scratch. So for any of the new users of Unreal, instead of write your own code in Blueprint, you can actually just go ahead, download my zip file. So this one is a kinetic source. I would encourage you to go through this tutorial first, just have a brief understanding of the whole process. Then you can apply this into your own project. So here I will just pretend I know nothing about this code. I will go ahead, download, and take a look. So the zip file, after I download, I can save the file on my desktop. Actually, I already did. I will bring the window here so you can see it. In desktop, I have a zip file. And then you can right click, unzip, extract all. After that, you should have a bunch of files. It's called kinetic source. You have Unreal and Max. Max file is original animated 3ds Max file. You also have Unreal file. And here I would encourage you to read me first. So it will tell you what is the folder you should put the file in. So in this case, it's under Geometry, K4. You also see a screenshot. So this is a suggested location or the folder hierarchy you should respect. Then you will have this you have this large number of U asset file. So this is basically the files you can copy paste into your Unreal project, right? So just keep in mind you need to follow exactly the same structure. So it's under Geometry K4, right? So within this folder, actually, let's talk quickly about the files. The only file you really need is the map, which has the map blueprint associated with it. So here you can see MP stands for map. So these two files actually contain the information about the level blueprint, which allow you to trigger the play of your animation. Right? So this is the two important one. Other files is like your asset for geometry, for the shaders. Once you load it into your project, you can see them. Alright, so I will show you how to do that. So first, you copy this K4 folder, entire folder, and you go to your new project. So let's assume, let's just pretend this is your new, new project. Here you need to first create a new folder, right? And you give this folder name as a geometry, right? Then you right click, you go ahead, show in export, right? In our case, this will be an empty folder. Then you right click and paste, right? So what happened is you reconstruct exactly the same structure as my previous tutorial did. So under the geometry now, you should have like a K4. So that is the file you have, and you will see my map file is already here. If you open, double click the map file, you would be able to see something like this. So that's exactly the same as my project. I built this thing using the version 4.23. So if you use any version not older than 4.23, you should be able to just copy paste this U asset file in. And also, I really didn't using these original shaders while initially bringing as a datasmith. Actually, as FBX, I actually used the starter content because there's some really nice material here in the starter content. In the architecture, actually using the material, I'm using them to apply to my geometries. So if you want to see exactly my geometry like this, you'll probably need to add the content pack, and then you want to give this starter content into your project. So we'll have exactly the same material as I have. Alright. But let's just pretend we are not really trying to recreate my map. Is you have a new animation you want to bring in. The only thing you need to use is actually in my map, right? The only thing you need is the blueprint. So here in my level blueprint, let's just make it dock here. You will see the only thing you need is actually this script, which will basically reference to a trigger box, which is this blue color trigger volume, right? This one will be loaded when actor overlap with it, and then it will play animation, right? This animation name is play forward, and this one is actually come from this this reference to an actor in the level. So this is called Kinetic Building 2. As you can see, this guy is Kinetic Building 2. So basically drag it here, which contain this FBX skeleton mesh contain multiple animations with it. So when you drag it in, it contains that animation, right? Then when I use a script which will play this animation, and also when I get out, this animation will be reversed. So that's pretty much the sequence you can unfold and refold by go into the volume box or get out of the volume box. So that's the one. So later when we create a new level, we are just simply copy paste this into our new level. All right. So let's assume we start from scratch, a new level, nothing here. Okay, brand new, and I have a brand new animation from other design ideas, but in this one is actually just an updated version of the kinetic building. So you can see there's more details here. All right. So my goal is I think it's right now 300 keyframe, 300 frames. Right. I want to transfer this into Unreal, and then I want to trigger this animation, play the animation forward. I'm not sure if I need folding back. Maybe, yeah, I can do that. So it will be play forward, backward, all right, in Unreal. So let's do that. The first thing I did is, when I transfer the file in, I believe the original one is based on the inch, because it maybe come from Rhino. So I just convert the scale, adapt to my current unit. So as you can see, my current setup is based on meter, and the unit is based on centimeter. Okay, so keep that in mind. You do want to make sure this is FBX. Later we're going to export, so the metric system should be the one you want to use, right? And also, here's a good habit: whenever you bring a new file in, just make sure you measure the dimensions. So measure distance. So here I want to make sure the building is, in the, I cannot measure it. Here, one click, second click. Right. So see, this is about 6 meters high, which is roughly about 2 levels for a mobile house. I think that's pretty reasonable. Right. So that's the size for this model. And also, I think I did another, just as my last tutorial did. I can show you. Here I create a tiny box, which is just basically a box. I put it close to 0, 0, and then I drag all of these pre-animated objects, drop underneath the root box. Since I want this one, I already did this. So I want this become the children of the box. The point is, in the future, if I move the box, everything will go with it. So they became this kind of parent-children relationship, right? And also, another benefit is when you transfer this into Unreal, Unreal will treat everything underneath the box as a single skeleton mesh. So you don't end up with many of small pieces in Unreal. It will be just like a single object. Alright, so let's do that. So I select everything, then I will go ahead and export. Selected. and I will do a FBX. Right, we're not doing the data smith, just a little bit better control. Here we have Emacs, and I give this name. I'll make sure I'm actually right now in the E drive Max. Just make sure you can find it later. I give this name Kinetic. Let's give name, I don't know, 7. This has been done by earlier version, so it's good you have a new name. Save it. Right. So here we go. This is the part I think you should be careful about. Number one is the animation, right? We have 300 frames. You can bake these frames into keyframes. I think every, I don't know, maybe every 5 frames. That should be fun. I don't want to have too dense keyframes. This is good. I don't have lighting. I don't have camera. You could embed the media, so you will bring in this solid color into Unreal. Okay, Y up, FBX format. All looks good. Scale factor right now is 1. So this unit is actually is bring in as centimeter. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so this will be a centimeter based model. All right, so let's bring that in. Click OK. Let me see if I miss anything else. Animation, yep, it's all good. I don't really need to smooth the group because this is a building. Right. So I did this split per vertex normal. So this will bring the building as a kind of hard-edged geometry. Okay. Give me some warning. Locate axes that are not perpendicular to each other. Well, let's just not worry too much about these warnings. Also have the geometry conversion. Yeah, that's all right. Okay, we're done. So we have this FBX file generated, K6. Then we can go to Unreal and then we can bring the file in. Oh, just one thing I want to just point out is this file, if I, this new level, let me see. If I play, I have this third person character as this human instead of robot. This is something I did. Probably I will do another tutorial. Just talk about this. How you can customize your third-person robot to replace it with something else. But not for this video. So just keep in mind. I have this architect. He looks like architect as a robot, right? So that's just a little bit better in terms of the scale. All right. So not worry too much about this. The shape of the player. Alright, then the next thing I'm going to do is under geometry, I will create a new folder. I'll give the name K7, that's the name. Right? And then I'm going to bring my FBX into this new folder under geometry. In the future, if I save my, actually let's do this, save my map, I want to save my map under the same folder, so we're not need to reference anything outside. Let's give this name K7MP, so it's a good way hey, this is a map file. Okay, so you have these 2 files in, so that's my level. Then I'm going to just go import, and here I go to my E drive, Max, export. I will try to find the one I just generated, which is Kinetic 7. Yep, I think that's the one. And then click open. And make sure you choose import both mesh and skeleton. So we'll bring in the animation. Animation length, I will just using the exported time, which is 300 frames. Transformation, it's all good. Imported scale, let's use 1 first. I think it should recognize the centimeter, but if not, I think we need to do some twist here in terms of the scale 100 times. But let's just keep it right now, since it has a file unit as centimeter. I think it will be able to read and convert. Let's see. So import all. Okay. Some warning. I will not worry too much. It's talk about smooth and maybe the animated pose. Yep. Okay. Let's dismiss. Alright, so we will have this purple color, which is a mesh. This is called skeleton mesh. You also have an animation file. You also have a physics file. You also have a skeleton system. So this is all automatically generated by default. Okay. Let's see. I only have one being transferred in. Let's see. Maybe I didn't select all. Yeah, that's something wrong. See here, I only have this purple color geometry being transferred. I think I lost all of other geometries. I wonder why. Right, there's something wrong. Let's redo it. So here in Max, I guess it might be because there's a subfolder within this. So if I just select by this way, it doesn't really select the geometries underneath the help objects, which is like a group objects. So let's do this way. If I drag a selection window, this is that guarantee everything will be selected. All right, let's redo that. Export, selected. Let's do export. And then I do the Kinetic 7, right? I'm using the same name, so you replace the old one. Yeah, and here using exactly the same setting. All right. So this time you got everything exported. It also take a little bit longer time now to write into FBX. Alright. Yeah, has some warning, that's alright. Okay, so it's done. Then we go back to here. Then I'm just simply right click, re-import. Okay. Let's say doesn't do re-import. That's strange. Let me do this. I will just simply delete this, and I will just bring in one more time from scratch, because we haven't really do anything yet, right? Another thing you might notice when you delete objects, sometimes it takes a longer time because the let me just import. Because the Unreal want to make sure you're not breaking any reference to other objects in the content. So here is the same kind of setting. Right now the unit is centimeter, the scale is 1. Okay. Yeah, let's import all. Failed. Please see output. That's interesting. Error, could not import root box. Each box must have a unique name. Does it have the same name? Yeah, this is something you might not encounter in your case, but you know, for good practice, I will just troubleshoot in real time. Seems like this bone name has something weird, so let's just do this one more time. Export. Why not we give a new name? Because sometimes when you bring in the old name, it might have some confliction with things it's already there. Let's use a Kinetic 8 as file name. Okay, so everything else is still the same. Okay, so you will have the same kind of warning, which is fine. Just click OK. And here I'm going to import K8, which is 11 megabits. Yeah, they don't have that warning anymore, I guess. Really? Still have that issue. Kinetic failed to correct asset under K78. Please see output. Arrow, could not import root robot TM, duplicate bone name found. Texture 09. Each bone must have a unique name. That's really strange. What does this mean? Each bone has a unique name. Texture 09. Do we have something called texture 09? I don't have here. Okay. This is really interesting. It keep complaining something called text 09. I wonder why. I don't know. So let's just go ahead and rename it. Text 09. Maybe you have two objects has exactly the same name. Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, I would just override Kinetic 8. The objects with the same name is not a problem in Max, but in Unreal, everything has got a unique name. I wonder if that's the reason. But here we go. Let's try one more time. Yeah, I don't know what's happened. So this time, let's see what's exactly the message. Wall 17 has a duplicated bone name. I wonder how many of this has duplicated names. So this is all the name here. This is wall 17. Does it mean there's another object called wall 17? I don't really see it. Yeah. This is really strange. Yep. First door wall. I don't know. Maybe you can just simply rename the wall 17. See if if this is the last thing. So here, let's just rename it. All right. Oh yeah, see here, so there's another thing called wall 17. All right. Well, this is again, we already know there's some tolerance in Max, but things will not be tolerated later in Unreal. So let's give the same name, Kinetic 8. Yeah, we are keep writing to the same file, which is fine. Alright, so this time it seems like all the duplicated name has been cleaned. I hope this will just bring in everything in as it should be. It will definitely take a longer time now. Alright, see, it has the couple hundred geometries and keyframes. Now it's brought in. The last time when we export, I think we did the bake as per frame. So that's actually pretty dense keyframes. That's alright. Ideally, you don't need to do the bake per frame. You can do bake per every 5 frames. But that's alright, it's not really a big deal. So we have all the shaders came in, and also we have the whole mesh come in. We also have this animation come in, right? you gotta like couple hundred shaders need to be compiled. This is actually just the script or the component within the shader. It has to be computed from the default max shader into the Unreal shader. Okay, so this will take I would say a few minutes, depends on your computer, and then we can come back after this compiling thing is done. Right, so I will pause for a second. Alright, so finally this material has been transferred in. So I can see a bunch of files, animation file, mesh file. So if I drag the animation file in, here I can go ahead and play. So you see that animation has been played. But there's something really weird happening. You can see a few walls not really in the correct location. This might due to some of the keyframes in Max is not being transferred correctly as keyframe here in Unreal. So I think the problem is the two panels in the front. So what I did is I actually took a look at these files. Let me just open it for you. In one of these older version. And I noticed the animation was done actually through the groups. So here if I open this wall, you can see these two walls, they are actually a group of objects. And here is another group of objects. The problem to doing this way is, number one, you have a lot of objects you have to group, and when you rotate, you have to set up anchor point for your rotation, and sometimes this anchor point need to be adjusted based on which part of rotation it need be. For example, this one, the pivot point is here, but for the next geometries, the pivot point is shifted. Even here, if I collapse objects, you can simplify the model. But still the problems is not being solved. So it's always not the best practice to do this through groups. So I prefer you do this through the bone system, which give you more flexibilities to control the rotation. It's also relatively consistent, right? So what I did is I create a new version, and here I can show you the final result. Because the whole process is covered in another tutorial a long time ago, so I think you can check out the older one, how to do the bone animation in Max. So here you can see what I did is, here at the bottom, just see the view from here, you can see here is a couple of bones, actually 3 bones, right? Really simple. These 3 bones, they all linked to a particular part of the wall. So the wall will actually just be attached as a joint. You can just joint the wall using this link action. So you can link the wall to individual bones, and then when you animate the bone, the wall will go with it. This will give you more flexibilities at the end. Okay, so using bone instead of groups, that will help you. And then I put all the bones under the root box node, so this will be transferred as a single objects. So here, go ahead, export selected, and I use the I think I did the 8 and then I did the baking. I think I will bake every 10 frames. You have a keyframes every 10 frames from 0 to 300. And also make sure you check the media, embed media, so the thing will be exported. And here in Unreal, I've actually created a new folder. In this new folder, I just go ahead and import this new 8 file in. When I do that, yeah, I don't want to redo this again. But you got a point. This is pretty much the same process. Make sure you have the time frame set at 0 to 300. You bring all the skeleton mesh in. So this is the new version controlled by the bone system instead of grooves. So I will put the bone system version on the left, so we can compare these two. They should look very similar, except the front wall now works pretty well. Okay, so I'm going to using this new version in the folder K8 as the final version and transfer to a new level. Okay, so now I can get rid of this older version. I will using this version to present. And by the way, you can use End key. It will automatically drop it to the ground, or you can just drag it a little bit more. Make sure it sits on the ground. And let's play. Let's make sure this looks pretty nice. Alright. Then the next thing is I'm going to just copy the file from the previous level blueprint, which is here, called K building MP. Right. I definitely want to save the current one. And here, as you can see in the level blueprint, right, you have this script. So I will just simply copy and paste into my level. I might actually have to reassign the reference because we don't have this FBX there anymore. But we'll do that later. So let's just Ctrl C to copy it, and then I can close this now, and I will go to my K. Yeah, it's still here in the level. Where's node level? Oh, I still have this as a K7. Let's just move this to K8 here. Okay, so here I will also rename it, just make it a little bit easier. Later we can put into our new project. So if you rename K8, you can see here the data will automatically be renamed as well. So it's pretty smart. And here I will go to blueprint, open level blueprint, Ctrl V to paste. Right. V, yeah, here we go. You definitely see some error message because we do not actually have. Let's just move it a little bit far away. Let's delete this. Ctrl V, paste one more time. Okay, we got a clean version. Okay, so for this one, I need to have a reference to the collision box called trigger box. Also, I need a reference to the FBX, right? So let's do that. So first thing I do is I get rid of this. I will grab this FBX file in, and also I'm going to create a trigger box, right? Which is right here, box trigger, and I will make the trigger box really big, so that will be kind of like a bounding box to cover the whole building. Okay. Or you can just type the value right here. Either way. All right, I think that's good. Left. I think the height. Height is fine since once you collide with the box, it will trigger. Okay, so we're done with the trigger box. The next thing we're gonna do is to use the trigger box to control animation of this guy. As you know, this one name is a Kinetic 8. That's the name. Let's get rid of some of these older files. I need a 4 for sure. This is from older file. Okay. I think I did quite a few tests, so they are all somehow here. So here's the trigger box, here's the Kinetic 8. These two files I need. Let's save the file one more time. Then I will go here to update my reference. So first thing, click the trigger box, and here you can replace this, right? So this is called actor begin overlap. So here if you right click, add event for trigger box, and you can go to add one actor begin overlap, right? So this is the new version. I'm going to use a new version to replace the old one, and I can get rid of this old. Alright, so this will be triggered. The second thing is this FBX need to be re-drag in. So here is the not FBX, it's an actor back to the skeleton mesh. So this calls Kinetic 8, right? This purple one. So here I'm going to right click, create a reference to Kinetic 8. Okay, and I want to use this one to replace the previous one. Right, I think it goes to both. Here we go, and then we can get rid of this. Alright, the same thing for the second component, which will leave, right? So you basically select this trigger box one more time, and go here, right click, add event, collision, and this time is end overlapping. And you want to use this to replace the previous one. So you can get rid of this, put it in. Okay. So this is the quick update, compile. I have the new trigger box, I have the new reference. Another thing you want to make sure you have is the animation, right? So right now I have this animation still kind of using the old name. So here I will select this new animation, and I use this new animation to swap with whatever name there. Okay, so compile, it should work. We don't have a reverse one for now, so let's just give a none for now. So it's not gonna be an arrow, and let's do a test. Right, so it's nothing happened. If I get closer, collide, right, it will trigger this animation. Didn't trigger it. That's strange. Let me see. At the beginning, this is in animation mode, I believe. Yep. Save. New animation to play. Just keep it looping. And then when you leave, and it should do nothing. Okay. Also, I want to make sure the physics of these objects. Yeah, here we go. This might be a problem because the physics of this object is really prevent me to get in closer to the trigger box. I think especially is this one. You could actually just get rid of them since we are not really worried about this animated physics. Okay. Alright, so let's see. Here we go. So the animation is being triggered. Good. So when I leave, if nothing happened, it will basically reset to 0. That means none. So what I will do now is create a reversed animation for this guy, right? So this is a very similar process like the one we did last time. So basically you have this time frame, right? Instead of play forward, I will play backward. But when I play backward, I want to actually using this to record. So that will be the kind of manual way you can generate a new animation. So let's click record, and I will save the file inside the folder. I think it's folder in geometry K9. I think that's the name. Let's give this name reverse BLDG TM. I'm not sure if I have the same name used before. Okay, so click record. Then you can just simply drag the animation, make it go backwards. Then you click stop. Oh, I think I did already. Did I? Probably didn't put this, the stop. Let's do it one more time. Okay. So first, click record. We need to give a name, right? Reverse 2. Now we'll drag the mouse slowly, reverse to 0, and then click stop. Yeah, I think I didn't do the stop last time. So it said, hey, this one has been successfully created. So here, if I open it, so this is reverse 2. Let me save. Alright, cool. So that is the whole process, how you generate a new animation called reverse 2. I put it right here in the wrong place. That's okay. And delete the one I don't need. I will put the reverse 2 back to my K8 folder. Okay, so everything's here. None, I don't really need this. Delete. Alright, so I have this reverse 2 right here. Then here in the level blueprint, I need to load this into here, reverse 2. No looping, the first one I don't really need a looping. Also compile, save, and I can play. So here, I got closer, it started to play. Right, has all the pieces opened up. Alright, done. If I get away from it, see it start to reverse. The reverse is the one we manually recorded, so it's a little bit faster than the open animation, but you see it should work. I think the collision caught me. So this is probably a good idea, just simply disable the collision for the entire objects. Otherwise, each time you might have some issues. So here, if you type collision under the properties, you can see here the simulated collision. Where is the place we can disable it? Collision free side. I would do no collision and save. And also I want to make the trigger box a little bit bigger. So maybe just choose the scale on this way. Right, so we don't have to get super close to trigger this animation. Right, so this is basically close. If I can forward when it's triggered. Right. This is close, forward. Now it's being triggered. I think I probably want to make the trigger animation play a little bit faster. So let's see. So here's animation. Oh, I don't think you can control right here because it's not really animated file. It's a static, it's a select mesh. So if you do want to control the rate of animation, you'll probably have to come here and add some extra nodes. But that's not a really big deal. Let's just using the current rate. So get closer, animation will be triggered. Alright, far away. Okay, it will be closed. Right. So if we do need some visual, we can actually just quickly create another box, and then just make this box kind of in the same area of the collision. So you know once you step on top of the box, the collision will be triggered. Yeah, that's pretty close. Okay. So here, step in, triggered, step out, it will be closed. In, open, step out. You have to wait a second, then it will be closed. Yeah, I think this works really nice. Let's save the file one more time, and later I will just give this whole file to you. And as you know, the level file is called Kinetic 8. The map file is called K8 map, and this is the static mesh. This is 2 animation associated with it, and here's all the materials. So in the future, if you do want to update this kinetic building, you can just using new material swap with the old one. So very easy, just drag and drop, replace this. That's the easy way. You can also customize by adding this color right here in the level. So this is how to change the instance in the level. But if you want to change the original static mesh, you want to go here and change here. All right. So I will leave that to you guys, and then you can customize either way you want. So here I will do one last thing to compile this into a standalone game. I just want to see the better quality of the material and shadows and also animation. So let's see. So I step in. Alright, animation is played. I can always come in. It's not really gonna stop the animation, so I can see all the details. I can walk around. Here's the door. I can actually go in, and there's no collision, right? So I can actually see what's inside. And here are some extra pieces within. I think there's a kitchen there. There's other nice features. You can go to the second level. That's really nice. So once I step out, go to a different location, and then you can see, hey, this building starts to be folded back into a small package. And here you can drag it with the truck. Right. You could actually make this on top of the vehicle model. So here, if I get closer, you see, hey, that's the Model V. Open up. Yeah. Here we go. All right. I think that is the whole tutorial how you can generate animated form through 3ds Max, and how you can bring that into Unreal, and then you can have many different ways you can open up this building. And in the future, if you want to set up the collision, it's actually pretty simple. You just need to go to the physics, then you can set up the physics right there. So if I get far away, see the building will be closed. Alright, that's it.